Hello everyone and welcome back to another Blender quick tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you two ways in which you can get some basic skies set up inside of Blender quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. For the first method, you're going to press the edit button and you're going to click preferences. Then under add-ons, we're going to search dynamic sky. This will come up, so make sure you click this checkbox to have it enabled. Under these three bars, press save preferences, or you can click this auto save preferences if it isn't a ticked box. Now I'm going to close my preferences and I'm going to show you how this works. So in order to see our dynamic sky, we're going to go into the viewport shading and I'm going to change my render engine from cycles to Eevee. I'll come down to create and I'll open up this menu called dynamic sky, and then I'll left click this button called create. Now all I need to do is click on my world properties, click the drop down and select dynamic 1. I'm going to make sure my render engine is set to Eevee because sometimes it turns it into cycles again. The reason I'm using Eevee is so I can demonstrate this to you in real time, although you are more than welcome to use cycles if you would prefer. Both of them work just fine. Now as you can notice, under this dynamic sky panel, all these new parameters have appeared. So the brightness will control the general brightness of the scene. So as I turn this down, or turn it up, so if I set this to 0 for example, you'll see that now there's nothing. And if I set it to around 0.1, this is a very dull sky now. So that's something you can mess around with. You can also change the color saturation of the shadows, and here you can change the sky color itself. I usually like to make it a little bit more of a saturated blue here, and I will make my horizon color a little bit less red in hue. Cloud color I usually leave the same, but you can mess around with all these values. I'm actually going to change the scene brightness to 2, that's maybe a bit too much, 1.1. I can also change my cloud parameters. So I've got cloud opacity here, so I can make the clouds can disappear. I can bring them back in, and I can also change how much clouds and how thick they are by changing this cloud density parameter. The thing about the dynamic sky add-on is it does automatically add in a sun lamp. So that might give you a reason as why you might want to use the second method, because then with the second method you can add in a sun manually and control it individually. But I'm still going to show you how to use the sun nonetheless. So I can click the color here and I can make it a bit brighter, and I can maybe make it a little bit more yellow in hue. That is quite a strong sunlight, so maybe turn it down a tad, put it up to 0.8. And I can change the direction and you'll see the difference on this cube and plane I've added in here. Now, something important to note about the dynamic sky add-on is the sun lamp it generates will not show a cast shadow inside of Eevee. However, if I switch the cycles, as you can see, it has created a cast shadow. That is quite a big limitation for the dynamic sky add-on, which is why I'll be showing you the alternative, especially for those of you who want to create stuff inside of the Eevee render engine. We'll switch back to Eevee for now, and now we will go over the next method. So I'll go down to my world properties and I'll press X beside dynamic 2 to get rid of it. Probably dynamic 1 for you. I'm going to switch from timeline to shader editor, and I'll bring this up. Mine's already in here, but yours will probably be set to object by default, so just click this button and switch the world. Then simply click this plus new button and you're just going to find these two boxes here, which should be here by default. Make sure these values are the same as mine for now. I'm going to press Shift A, come down to texture, and I'll click sky texture with my left click. And I'll plug the color in here. Now as you can see, it's created this white background for my scene. You can mess around with these values, but I usually like to use the prefab, and it will get me a decent result to start with. And I can change the value here to change the sort of gradient. And I can change the position of the sky texture by moving this around. If I move it too much, you can see it turns into this horrible yellow blue color, so make sure you keep it up here. Now as you can see, the prefab does not load in a sun lamp in either cycles or Eevee, so I'll add one in manually. So I can just press Shift and an A on the keyboard, come down to light and select sun. Then I can press G and Z just so I can see what I'm working with, and I'll press R and then X, rotate it. And now you can see that cast shadow is working, and we're still in Eevee as well, so this will work in both Eevee and cycles. I can also change my sun lamp a little bit by making it a little bit more yellow in hue, and I can increase the brightness if I so wish. I'll maybe go about 2. So there's certainly a lot more you can do with these sky textures, but if you're just trying to quickly generate a sky into your scene, then this should get you a decent result. If you want to see more quick tutorials like these, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to be updated when I make more videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.